Guess who's going live today? It's me again. Just here to check if everything is working well. Yes, Smartest.one is live now for how to nail your next job interview. Amazing. Hi, guys. So great to see you today. Last week we spoke about creating an amazing CV that leaves a great first impression and ensures job interviews. Today I will let you know more about interviews, how to nail your job interview. I did look back at a few lives that I have done now in the past year and years since we are on the market with Smartest. And actually, last year at this time, I think it was sometime in April, I did a live about how to nail a job interview. And there I went into all the possible details that I know regarding job interview, how to prepare, how to do research, what questions to expect, setup, and everything. And yeah, that was around 45 minutes packed with so much information. Feel free to go and check it out if you want to. It's available on our Smartest LinkedIn page. But today, I wanted to deep dive into some of the questions because, in my opinion, you can prepare yourself for everything in life. An interview is one of the things that you can prepare yourself for because I think it's actually a skill. Interviewing is a skill that you can learn on your own. And yeah, that's something I want you today to learn a bit more about. Because I do know that a lot of my candidates, when we do a little preparation, which I always do before a job interview, they say, yeah, I'll just look into things, but I'm not really preparing. So I'll just go with the flow because that's how I feel the most. And depending on day and mood, I'm sure things will be fine. Yeah, it's a good approach. My husband and their coworker had the same approach a couple of years ago, and he was jobless for over a year because it was just not working. Because everything in order to work needs to have a system. And today I want you to teach this system. Because, yeah, like I said, a little preparation, knowing what's coming your way will give you the confidence so that you can literally nail that next job interview and show you from the best side in order to get hired because that's the most important thing, right, at the end of the day. So the plan for today is a storybook. We will get to know ourselves better because one key of being confident in the interview is knowing yourself. Moving onwards, research, knowing who we are talking with. So, some worksheets, we will work around those ones. And then I want us to have a closer look at a couple of standard questions. I have prepared quite a few, but I want to keep the session short and sweet. It's for most of you, I would assume, lunch break that we're spending together. So, I just want to give a maximum impact in a short period of time. And in case we don't manage to go through everything, there's a chance I can make another live where we can get together, right? So, yeah, let's deep dive into the storybook first. So, the way how you can sell yourself the best is by knowing yourself, right? And I know this is the hardest job out of all the jobs in the world. That's what I also say to myself. Working with people is the hardest job, but it makes it much easier if you know yourself. If you know your boundaries, if you know what you like, what you dislike, some situations you have been through. Because I think all of us always have a story to tell to a specific situation. And that's what I want you to be prepared for. So here's a list. I have called them categories of some of the questions and situations I want you to think about. I would better say situations. And if you would just sit down with yourself for quite some time before the interview takes place and write down answers to these situations, you will be much more confident going into interview because behavioral based questions are coming up in every interview. What does it mean, behavioral based question? It's a question where an interviewer asks you, tell me about a time, explain to me what was your responsibility. So, everything that is very open, where they invite you to speak about yourself, about situations, challenges, opportunities. And before, if you present yourself, if you go into yourself and write down some notes, you can prepare yourself very well for that. So things to here go over, and they come up into literally every interview. What I have noticed is think about a moment when you worked with a difficult person and how you dealt with this person. You just write down what it was like for you. Of course, keeping in mind that it's professional, it's respectful, it's polite. Moving on into the moment when you took responsibility, you were in a leader role, you were assigned as a team manager, what it was like for you. What was the responsibility? You can also talk about the moment where you solved a big problem, where you went through a huge talent challenge, how you overcame it. So basically, these questions are kind of the same all the time. They're just covered into a different coat, you know? It can be tell me about responsibility, it can be tell me about the challenge, and it's good to have a direct answer here because the thing is always if you write things down, it's much easier because it kind of sinks into you and you will have a direct answer here ready. Some of the other things you can write here down is, yeah, a moment when you messed up something, when you failed and how you went about it. People like this question. Interviewers love this question just to showcase what it was like for you to be uncomfortable with something. Yeah, when you worked as part of the team and could help someone, how you felt about it, what it was like. So it's a lot about feelings. I know, especially men, they're not about feelings in these kind of terms and might think like, why would I need to sit down with myself and write these all things down? But believe me, it makes such a difference because it gives you an ease of mind because you know these kind of situations will be discussed, so you can adapt much easier. So yeah, this would be the storybook that you write all the stories in for yourself. You can print it out if you want to afterwards and bring it with you when you are going to an interview. So let this be your guidance. So we have got to know ourselves. We know how we worked, what were the challenges, what we like, we dislike, how we work the best. Now we need to move on and research the person, the company that we applied for. We have a little fact sheet here prepared. I know some people might think it's super detailed and is it all relevant and necessary? But believe me, if you will just open the website of the company and quickly scroll through, you will notice most of these things. And here it's just about writing them down so that you have some numbers, some figures in the head. And this will also, at the end of the day, help you because let's say facts about a company where they are, so you can speak about different offices where you would see yourself, when they were established, what industry they're in. Of course, you most likely will have the experience in the same industry. Share price, very important for people in banking, in financial sector, will definitely be a topic to talk about before the interview. And candidate I spoke with today, he was very interesting in terms of saying that for him it's very important to know the purpose of the company. That purpose is matching the purpose that he has. The same goes with values. So here you can read about company's mission, you can read about their values and write it down. I would write down the things that are in common, you know, because then it's already directly much easier. If you don't find anything in common there yet, just write down the things that are talking to you. Products and services, you know, some people, some companies deliver a service, so maybe you have used their service, you have been a customer, you can give some, um, think of a feedback, what it was like, what you liked and what you disliked. If it was a product, maybe it's worth buying a product if you haven't, if it's affordable, to test it and afterwards being able to refer and give a feedback. You can also do some research on the customers, who they are, what they are like, what kind of reviews they are also leaving on a website like Google. So it will be interesting. It will give you a lot of insights. Maybe you even come up with some kind of ideas how to improve the product, and that could be a topic for an interview. So yeah, competitors, very often I have now also an interview scheduled for someone who is coming from the competitive company, from direct competitors. So it's also interesting, right? Like who are the competitors, how they differ from the company that you apply for. Very important insights. And of course, what I do myself, first thing, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, just to get some ideas how the company represents itself to the outside world. If I like how yeah, their employees are represented, you get the whole vibe of, are they formal, are they less formal? So that's something you can get through social media apart from the company's website, which will most likely be a bit more formal. You have done the research around the company, you know some facts and figures, have found something in common. Here I can also suggest to read the latest news in Google News, for example. Maybe there's something that you have experienced that's similar to what they are going through. That could be a great thing you can talk about or give some suggestions how to tackle something. Or you have checked the product already. Whew, so many things to talk about, right? And at the end of the day, after researching the company, it's good to take a look at the interview partners. Personally, I always send LinkedIn, Xing links to all my candidates to their interview partners so that they can get the first picture of who they are, what they do, what their title is. Maybe you find some kind of things that are in common. You have studied together before, or I don't know anything. Maybe you speak both the same foreign language. So these are all great facts to use afterwards for a small talk. And if you know someone, it's much easier to start and jump into the conversation, right? And especially if there are some things in common, whew, that will be then a totally different starting point. So it might sound like a lot, but I know for myself, the more information I gain, also when I'm traveling around the world, you know, to the objects I go, the more confident I am at the end of the day to say, I like it, I want to go there. No, I don't like it. Gives me a wrong vibe, not worth investing my time. So use this as an idea of how to research a company, how to research your interview partners, because that will give you an ease of mind and a bigger confidence when you walk into that interview. It can be, of course, a face-to-face interview, which we're coming back to again these days, or it can be an interview online, Teams, Zoom, video format. But still, you know, jumping into it will be much, much easier for you if you will have all the insights needed. If you ask me how long the preparation shall take, I would say an hour or two for sure. The more you put time in, the more or the easier it will be for you afterwards to say if it's worth your time or no, if you want to work for such company or no. So I think it's up to you, because at the end of the day you need to make a decision if you would like to work for the company, if you wouldn't like to work for the company. And the more information you have, the easier it gets. So yeah, now we know ourselves, we know the company, we're ready to go into that interview. Thousands of questions will be shut our way. But I liked how one of my candidates said it, I believe it was yesterday, after one of the interviews with our clients. He said it was nice because it was not an interview in a typical way, how you know it. It was a dialogue. Two people were trying to get to know each other better, find more information about each other in order to see if it would work out at the end of the day. And there was no awkwardness, no weird questions of where do you see yourself in 5 years. It was just so natural. And that's something I want you to keep in mind as well when you go into an interview. It's not a company trying to test you and see how you act in stress situations. It's about you as well participating, finding out if that's a fit for you. Because at the end of the day, it's something that should suit both sides. And in the best case scenario, long term, right? So make sure that you invest the time necessary. Yeah, then moving on to the questions. There are some standard questions that are always there in like literally Always. I think this is the classic one, the opening one, after all the icebreakers, after you have talked about the time, the current situation in the world, and everything else. Both sides want to get to know each other. So usually it is, tell me a bit more about yourself. I do know one of our managers that I closely work together with. They always say, I don't want to hear the whole CV. I have the CV. Please give me a nice introduction of 4 to 5 sentences, short and sweet, who you are, what you do, and why you are here today. And that's something I really want you to also keep in mind, that it should be short, sweet. It shouldn't take 10, 15 minutes. It should really be 3 to 4 minutes, you explaining where you come from. So if I would do it my own today, I would say, hi, I'm Liene. I'm a recruitment expert that has been in industry for 10 years. I have worked for different kind of English recruitment companies that have changed to an internal recruitment, but I ended up in the classic recruitment as most people know it at the end of the day. Today I'm here because I read about the company, the values are matching, so I wanted to get together and see if this is actually approving what I'm thinking about it or no, because I'm currently looking for a new job. Short and sweet. Um, Here also, for you to give an idea, you can take the first part, formulate in one sentence, like the title, the current role, give a statement about who you are. So I have been in industry for so and so many years, working for these and these companies. So just like a little overview. Then you can move on to the part two, explaining what you are particularly good at. Here you can also use the job description. That one says always quite a lot. Sometimes it has even the answers to some of the questions. So make sure you have it in front of you, because that will help you when you prepare. You can formulate like 2 to 3 points based on the requirements that they're looking for, and just come and say, yeah, let's say if they're looking for someone who has developed websites, you can say, in the past years I have developed these and these websites that are currently ranking number 1 on Google, and stuff like that. So something that's relevant to the role that you're applying for. And then, yeah, 1 to 2 sentences. Why this company? Why do you think it would be a great next opportunity for you? So short and sweet. If you want, in the beginning, you can also ask, would you like to have like a short version, just a brief summary, or would you like me to go really in detail of each and every professional experience and section? And then, depending on the answer, there you can go with your reply. So, yeah, that's where you tell about yourself. We know each other now. So now we have some base to talk about, because I know what area you are expert at. I know what I'm looking for, so we can deep dive into some other questions more relatable to the work itself. And here, I think the most logical second question that we hear is, what are your responsibilities, or what were you responsible for in your previous job, in case you're currently jobless and are looking for a job? And here, just like I mentioned, use the job description. It says already everything. It says what the company is looking for, what they want, what they need, and use that when you are answering the question. So you can write down the first tasks, responsibilities that are listed in the job description under requirements. So, for example, they're looking for someone who knows how to manage and update and further develop websites. Then you know that your answer should go this direction, because that's for them one of the main requirements, things you will most likely be doing on a very frequent basis. So you want to showcase that that's exactly where you bring your expertise in. So yeah, you can write down quite a few of these requirements, and yeah, use the skills and see how you describe it. So here just to give you a bit more insights when you have used them, what are the tools that you have used, um, and maybe give a bit more insights on that. Because I mean, developing websites, being responsible for social media, if we take this example, you can also talk about the latest campaign you did in this manner, what kind of results it brought in terms of figures and facts, and that maybe it received afterwards more applications for your company. Here, then you can talk also about the result that was there at the end of the day as an end result of the task that you did. That way, kind of showcasing that you're not just doing it, but you're actually doing it very professional with loads of energy and get a recognition from your employer. So yeah, here put everything together when you have written it down and make a story out of it. You know, people like to hear stories, how you go about things, facts and figures, instead of just saying, yeah, I'm a great recruiter, I manage my time very well. They really want to hear, I'm placing so and so many people per month. The social media where I reach out to my candidates is LinkedIn, Xing, Twitter, Instagram. The one that brings me most candidates is this platform. If I were to choose now a different platform myself, I would go for this one, showcasing that you're open to things. So really get it packed with what is in the job description, and then kind of shadow the experience that you have based on that. I actually have a video, a live that we did quite some time ago, I believe, regarding how to read a job description. And this also delivers amazing insights for your preparation. So have a look into that. And yeah, moving onwards to the next question that is usually there, why you want to leave your current company, or why are you looking for job, you know? And here, if we talk about the first part, like why you want to leave your current employer, of course, here you don't want to talk nasty things. You don't want to put them kind of in the bad side or anything. You want it to be professional and polite, explaining that it's time to move on. These are the reasons why I want to leave. And keep in mind that having a too little salary is not a good enough reason to change jobs. There needs to be something more around it. So you want to gain new skills, you want to get a new job title, you want more responsibility, get into new industry. So these are all the things to keep in mind when you talk about your reasons for leaving the company. So if I were about to do it today, I would tell something positive about my employer. When I joined them, it was a great time. Internet was booming, new technologies were coming in. I was receiving a promotion very quickly, which allowed me to develop new skills in terms of soft skills, in terms of hard skills. I got to work with these and these programs. It's great. I learned my things, but now it's time to move on. I'm up for something bigger. I'm into, I don't know, artificial intelligence. I heard your company is dealing with that and are the leaders in the industry when it comes to artificial intelligence. I want to make my experience count and become part of something that I believe is the future. So explain why you want to take the next career step. Um, and then, yeah, find the reasons why exactly this company is then the right one for you. If you are currently out of work and are literally looking for that next employer, what you can do is then just take kind of the same structure, but say that in my last previous company, I was doing this and that. Really like that. I left because of these and these reasons. Currently, I'm looking for, I don't know, new industry, like I said, new higher growth opportunities, work in new different kind of work environment. Name a couple of reasons why, and then yeah, put it into a nice story explaining why you want to work exactly for this company. I know that very often for companies, it's important to hear this why question. why you want to leave. Why do you think we are an attractive employer for you? And here you can base your answers on the values that you have and the values that you have researched before that the company stands for. If it's development, you can relate to that. If it's working with newest technologies, if it's the fact that the company has a learning budget and you want to learn in your and grow in your skill set, be honest, be open about it, and nothing nothing will go wrong here. So yeah, these are three key questions that are coming up in literally every interview. Tell me about yourself, the opening question. Then afterwards, moving on to what you are doing currently, a nice explanation of who you are, what you do, and why your work matters. And then going afterwards for the question why you want to leave your current employer or why you are looking for a new job. Of course, we can go and look into the fourth question as well, which is a bit tricky. Some people hate this question when it's asked, why should we choose you? It's kind of like already when someone asked me why you want to work for us, like why should I tell them why they should choose me? It's kind of the same, but just a different code, But yeah, still, I do know that companies like to ask it. And here I suggest you to look again very, very closely into the job description. Here I have pasted in one that I recently found online, a typical job description saying what you will be doing on day-to-day basis. And here you can be sure that that's what the company is looking for the most, right? And your job is then here to go back and sell on these points. So the ones on the top are the ones that they really need help with, because open position means there's a problem. No one does these things right now. We need a professional to do it. And your job is then here to kind of shadow. They're looking for someone with 4-year experience in user experience. Then you write down each and every requirement for yourself to analyze it. And then against each and every requirement, you write the strength of yours, or you explain the strength of yours, that you have dealt with it, mention tools, mention team sizes, budgets, in order to let them know, you want someone 4 years experience? I have 5 years of experience. You want someone from pharma industry? I come from experience with pharma industry, like selling back. Because when someone says, tell me this glass of water, you can only sell it if you know more about this glass. And here you have a bit more about it. You have the job description. So sell back to that job description. And if you do it this way, I'm sure they will choose you, because at the end of the day, I like that LinkedIn recruiters say, there are a lot of people out there doing the same job that we do. Thousands of recruiters out there. But why should someone work together with us? That is something that you need to communicate with a confidence why someone would need to choose you. So what's your unique selling point? And here, when you write that down, requirement against your strength, there you have it, a list of magic bullets to shoot their direction and nailing that job. So yeah. It's actually a workbook that we're working on. We have been doing it for quite some time. It hasn't faced the daylight yet, so in case you think this would be useful for your next preparation, please do let us know. I'm sure we can figure something out. But other than that, remember that preparation and research are the two most important things for a successful interview. And if you know the standard questions that will come your way, if you have done your research and know yourself, things will be fine. I'm quite sure about it. And you will be able to nail any job interview, because this is the system that is behind every interview. So you know it now, you're a professional. If you need a little tweaking here and there, or an interesting question comes up, please do let me know. But other than that, I also suggest you, as an applicant, to come up with quite a few questions yourself that you would like to ask after the formal interview part, what you want to figure out about the company, why they are looking for someone new. And one of the best questions that I actually heard recently from one of my candidates last week was, and the hiring manager was like, what? Great question. Amazing that you asked it because no one has ever asked me this before. And they simply asked, what would be the biggest challenges you believe as my future team manager I would be facing in this role? Such a great question because the assessment has already kind of taken place. They know each other, you know each other, and based on that, it's easier to say what would be the challenges. And I was so amazed. The candidate was so prepared, and it's great because people see that you're prepared. So yeah, make sure you prepare, you do your research, you know the standard questions, and then you are good to go. And in case I can be of any kind of help along this journey, you know where to find me on any social media platform out there. So take care and let me know what would be the next live you would like to hear more about all things around recruitment. I'm your person.